ethnic balance in Kosovo. Albanians there make up a 90% majority. And that's all your news from here in Europe. But for now, it's back to Doreen in Doha.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Well, here's what's coming up. World tennis #1, Caroline Wozniacki, is safely through to round 3 in Qatar. But find out which 3 top seeds tumbled out in the second round in Doha. And Pakistan's captain puts on a 5-star performance in his side's first World Cup match. That's also coming up. Stay with us.
Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter. Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter.
As geeks take on dictators, bloggers turn dissidents, and social networks root for social justice, governments are going cyber, spying on their citizens, erecting firewalls like iron curtains, and closing down websites. We ask, is cyber-generated change virtual or real? Empire on AlJazeera.
This is Al Jazeera, and it's time for the sport with Zoe.
Thanks very much. We start with the Champions League, where holders Inter Milan have been beaten in the first round of their last 16 tie. They lost 1-0 at home to Bayern Munich. In a repeat of last year's final, this time Bayern have taken the honours, though they had to wait until the 90th minute. Mario Gomez with the goal that could prove crucial elsewhere. Marseille held Manchester United to a 0-0 draw in France, leaving United with a slight advantage in the return home leg. Well, Porto are through to the next round of the Europa League despite losing 1-0 at home to Sevilla. They're into the last 16 thanks to the away goals rule, where they'll play CSKA Moscow. Liverpool, meanwhile, are unlikely to risk skipper Steven Gerrard for Thursday's home leg of their Europa League tie with Sparta Prague. Gerrard's been named in the squad, but he's not expected to return from injury until Sunday's game at West Ham. Liverpool are hoping to claim a place in the last 16 with victory at Anfield. The two sides drew 0-0 in Prague in the first leg, and Liverpool are strong favourites to complete the job in front of their own fans.
The responsibility is on us to go and win the game. But fortunately for us, that's nothing new. The responsibility has been on us many times to go and win games, and they've gone past that, they've done it, they've been successful. So we just need to carry that trend and that fashion on.
In Serie A, Roma have made a winning start under new coach Vincenzo Montella. They beat Bologna 1-0. Montella's taken over until the end of the season after Claudio Ranieri's resignation following 4 straight defeats. It's Daniele Di Rosso who gave him the perfect start, firing home just before the break to send Roma up to 6th in the league. Well, in the English Premier League, just the one match, Arsenal beat Stoke to close to within 1 point of leaders Manchester United, who do, though, have a game in hand. To tennis, and just days after returning to the #1 ranking, Caroline Wozniacki has escaped the fate of several seeded players at the Qatar Ladies Open by reaching the 3rd round. Wozniacki, who won in Dubai on Sunday, showed no signs of slowing down after a 2-day rest. She gave 2006 champion Nadia Petrova a thorough workout, but came out on top, winning 6-3, 6-2 in a commanding display. No such problems for 5th seed Jelena Jankovic. She raced through the first set of her last 16 tie with Sana Mircea, taking it 6-love. She carried on in the same vein in the second, winning that 6-1 for a straight sets win. Well, 3rd seed Francesca Schiavone made a shock early exit. She was beaten in straight sets by Peng Shuai of China. Peng, who was a qualifier for this tournament, dominated from start to finish. And she reaches the quarterfinals. 8th seed Shahar was also knocked out by Marion Bartelli in straight sets. On the men's tour, Novak Djokovic remains on course to defend his Dubai Championship title for a 3rd successive year. He took his winning streak in the tournament to 11 matches with a 6-3, 2-6, 6-4 win over Feliciano Lopez. He'll now play Florian Mayer in the last 8. Now, Australian captain Ricky Ponting has been reprimanded by the International Cricket Council after he damaged a dressing room TV after his poor performance against Zimbabwe. While on the pitch, Pakistan have proved they could yet challenge Australia's grip on the World Cup. They beat Kenya in their opening Group A match by 205 runs.
It's been a turbulent 4 years for Pakistan. After an embarrassing first-round exit in the last World Cup, there was much to prove. But a shaky start left them fearing another mauling by one of cricket's minnows. As first, Mohammad Hafiz and then Ahmed Shahzad trudged back to the pavilion inside the first 7 overs. But Kenya's giant-killing hopes faded as Pakistan finally found top gear. Kamran Akmal and Yunus Khan swept Kenya's bowlers aside, their 98-run stand salvaging Pakistan's pride. Misbah-ul-Haq added fresh impetus, his half-century making a memorable World Cup debut. And Umar Akmal joined in the party, commanding control with his potent power play as Pakistan cruised to a massive 317 for 7. For Kenya, skittled for 69 in their opening match, it was a mountain to climb. Despite a competent start, Kenya's composure began to crumble. Run-outs and mishaps in the middle, a sign of the collapse to come. Flummoxed by the flair and form of Shahid Afridi, Kenya were left in a spin. The Pakistan captain's 5 for 16 sparked a spectacular meltdown as Kenya fell a massive 205 runs short. So with Afridi on fire and Pakistan finding form, they could yet prove to be real World Cup challengers.
Now, South Africa are probably the best team never to have won the World Cup, although England may just disagree. Andy Richardson reports from New Delhi, where South Africa are preparing to play their opening group game against the West Indies.
There's no question that South Africa are a team full of world-class players. Hashim Amla, for example, the game's top-ranked ODI batsman. But the world title has always eluded this country, finding new and interesting ways of losing tight games, a habit they aim to break, starting with their group opener against the West Indies.
Pressure is a part of your daily life, you know, when you're walking through airports, the public on you, talking to you, and you're walking out to bed in front of 70,000 people. Those are things that we've pretty much learned to deal with throughout your career.
The Firoz Shah Kotla Stadium is one that's full of history. Cricket's been played here for well over 100 years, but more recently, it's all been rather quiet here. Just